Everyone, the time here is 10 o'clock in the evening. You know we have a time difference between your end and in Australia. May I greet you a pleasant good evening first? You are talking to Wilhelmina Ford as an extension of the seller from Conakry, Guinea, Bamako, Mali, and Sierra Leone. As you know that gold is very precious. Africa, 98% natural resources produced in West Africa, East or Central Africa. Now let us talk about West Africa because West Africa is rich on natural resources. Now I think you watch Wilhelmina, you found Wilhelmina on YouTube channel. I have several video explaining about how you're gonna secure gold and why you were being duped and why you have an issue when you travel to Africa buying gold, diamond, or so forth. So I'm just focusing on gold and diamond. Now, there is a buyer from Brisbane. He's a refugee. He's an African from Ethiopia. And he was been dealing with Wilhelmina 2 years ago. He was been window shopping. He was been talking to me, sucking information. And suddenly he was dealing with the seller that he can only afford to pay taxes. Mhm. And this buyer, he used to live in Melbourne, now he moved into Brisbane. And I analyzed their communication with the seller. And this African buyer is also dishonest. Why he's dishonest? When he was talking to Wilhelmina 2 years ago, he said he is a buyer. When I interview him over Skype or over the phone, he said he's just going to start in order to uplift his standard of living. Yes, I can understand that. He migrated here in Australia as a refugee from Ethiopia. Mhm. We don't have any issue with that. You come to this country because Australia is the best country in the world. Now, I told this gentleman if I mention your name, you're gonna be embarrassed. But however, I'm not going to mention the name of the buyer who is dishonest to a seller. And he steal the information of the seller on the seller's Facebook. Now, when I review their communication, that buyer, he can only afford to pay taxes. Now, he was being offered, I'm just educating you guys, whether you're gonna go to Ghana, Tanzania, Mali, Sierra Leone, or Conakry, or Burkina Faso, when someone offer you cheap price, don't believe in it. That is gross. Now, this gentleman, he lives in Brisbane. I would love to meet him face to face. I would like to remove his stigma. He's also African. He's also cheating the seller. Now, he cannot afford to pay 1 kilo. He was being offered $48,000. Okay, $48,000. When I asked the seller, I don't have any business with him. I'm just trying to help them to reach out this buyer, right? And this buyer dishonest, and he got his deposit of $4,000, right? And the seller returned the money, and this buyer, he stole the informations of the seller on Facebook, and he blocked this seller. He already got the money, so he sent $4,000 to a seller to pay taxes. But I don't have any business with these two guys. Right. I know the seller, but I don't have any business with him. I just want to reach out here in order for the buyer to understand that don't dishonest yourself. Now, he was being offered $48,000. The tax is 7%. So, on the tax on the bar is 3,360. You add that one plus $48,000. That is 51,360. It's not including the shipping cost and insurance. So 1 kilo is 51,360. So if you include the 2% on the 51,360 and 2% shipping cost and insurance, 2%, that is 1,272. 1,272. You add that one on the price plus okay, 1,272 plus 51,360, that is 61,063. So this buyer has no money, and he only sent 4,000. And I told this buyer when he was talking to me, he used to live in Melbourne. Now he moved to Brisbane. He said to me he lives in Brisbane now. And I want to talk to him face to face in Brisbane. The seller is the loser. And I told the seller, why you agree on the buyer to offer to pay taxes? So when I analyze the conversation, because the seller and the buyer forward me their conversation, I told them, I don't have any business with you guys. But I want to help, I want to correct you. That's why I'm here live. Mr. Buyer, if I mention your name, believe me, you're going to be embarrassed. You are cheating. You're dishonest. You're a scammer. Yeah. Now, when I analyze here, when I look at it, okay, he's just only paying $4,000 to pay taxes. The tax is $4,000, but didn't include the shipping cost and insurance. So the seller also mislead the buyer. Both of them are dishonest to each other. I told the seller, you should not agree on the buyer paying taxes because your government would not allow you to ship the gold, and the government will not give you certificate of clearance that you're gonna export the gold to a particular buyer, and the buyer is African from Ethiopia. Yeah, you only pay $4,000. You add that one, 48,000 he was being offered. That is gross. 48,000 times plus 4,177.14. That is already 52,000. Yeah, here 52,107 in one bar. And this buyer, he only paid taxes. Of course, he didn't get the gold because you didn't pay the products. And the seller did return his deposit of $4,000. And then they were fighting each other, exchanging bad information. And this buyer from Ethiopia, he stole the seller's information on his profile. That is dishonest. If I mention this buyer, I'm chatting with him just few hours ago. If I mention his name, I told him, do you want me to mention your name when I'm on live? Now, I am correcting you here, guys, that no way you can get $48,000. It is gross. It is gross. You add the tax. I said to this buyer that he lives in Brisbane, you shop on Wallis and Coles. Every time we buy groceries plus government sales tax 10%, the 10% was added into the amount of the groceries. I'm just giving an example. When you buy the gold, the seller is giving you gross. The seller has to add the 7%. I told the seller, you should add the tax into the price, which is 4,177.14. In total of 52,174 or 52,177. And this buyer from Ethiopia, he's African. He came to Australia as a refugee. Yeah, he's a permanent resident and he became Australian citizen. Yeah, and he wanted to uplift his standard of living, to be involved in gold business, and he has limited cash. So what happened? The gold didn't arrive because he didn't pay the total amount. He only paid 4,000. So the seller returned the 4,000 to this particular buyer. He's African. Yeah, and I have their conversation, and I told this buyer, do you want me to mention your name? So now, Mr. Buyer, I'm just telling the world, please don't do that. You are dishonest to yourself. You're a scammer. You're scamming the seller and you're scamming yourself. Do you understand what is the meaning of scam? Means you lied. You are dishonest. You are tricking the seller and you're tricking yourself. Don't trick. Don't. You know, on my virtual page, I said on every video, our selling price less 5%. This buyer, he was talking to me 2 years ago. He cannot afford. He was been window shopping. I am not an agency here. I have the seller that I handle sales and marketing on behalf of the seller. I always mention on my video our selling price based on the world market LMA, less 5%. When I travel with the buyer, I do charge my extra service to accompany the buyer to cover my travel cost. So the buyer has option. You want to pay my travel cost to accompany you so that you will not be duped, or you just travel yourself 5%. And if there is an issue, don't come back to Wilhelmina. Now, when I travel with the buyer, I give the buyer 3% in total of 8%. Is that fair? Now, Mr. Buyer, if you're watching me, okay? This gold business is not for you if you want to buy 1 kilo, 2 kilos. This is not for you. You better stay away from gold business. If you just want to buy 1 kilo, 2 kilos, you will not get the profit. You will not. Our minimum order is 20 kilos, which is 1,060,000 on 20 kilos, on 53. At the moment, the gold is down, so we offer you 53. So if the price goes up, less 8% because I'm going to travel with you, might be 57 or 55. But you have not signed a contract with us. So I'm just giving you a preempt information. Now, our full corporate offer, if you're really wise and clever, if you're well educated, the full corporate offer is on every video. It's in front of you. You don't need to be excited to meet Wilhelmina. You need to read, digest it, comprehend it, analyze it before you come to Wilhelmina for live conference on WhatsApp or on YouTube or on Skype or on Messenger. It's very clear. Now, Mr. Bayo, I'm going to repeat again. If you have limited cash, don't be involved in this gold business. Don't. You don't have $1 million in your bank account. You're asking CIF, cost, insurance, and freight only. You cannot afford to pay the products. Now, I'm giving you $51,000 or 53. It depends on the price of the gold. The price of gold today is Sunday, is 59,673.55. The tax of the gold based on the world market price, 4,177.14. Yeah, 7%. So, when you buy, you have a profit of 4,773 per kilo if you buy 20 kilos. But 1 kilo, you don't have any profit at all. Our selling price is 54,899.66, but I will remove the 800, flat 54. But you have not signed a contract. So you are going to look around on the world market, the price of gold of the day. You cannot just say, well, Amina, what is the tax? What is the price? You read. Now, I am here to tell because there was a buyer. He's an African guy, originally from Ethiopia. He's African. And he dishonest the seller. He sent the $4,000 and the gold didn't arrive. So they were arguing. So the seller returned the money of his tax of 4,000, and then this buyer, He steals the seller's information on his Facebook. That is stealing. You're thieves. That buyer, thieves. I want to meet this buyer. He asked me, Mrs. Ford, can I meet you face to face? Yeah, he live in Brisbane. He's African. Mhm. So this African is also cheater. He think he can get the gold for free. This is 51,000 worth of gold, and you only pay $4,000 for tax. My goodness, you're a dishonest guy. If this is the way, I told this gentleman when I leave a message on his WhatsApp. He doesn't want to pick up my call. I don't know why he's scared. And I told him, do you want me to mention your name? But I want to educate you guys, whoever you are. Do not deal. The seller offer you gross. That seller is going to ignite you. I told the seller, do not sell the gross. Tell the buyer, okay, how much you can afford. Because there is a tax. Our selling price plus value added tax. On our position, Wilhelmina was the one who educated the seller as well, and the buyer. The buyer would not pay taxes. The tax is already included on the price. We give the buyer discount so that the buyer can get the profit. But if you're dealing with broker to broker, I'm not interested to deal with brokers anymore. If you are dealing with the buyer, if you're mandate, your buyer is paying you. Because we don't pay double commission. I remove that. I just have a conversation with the buyer as well from Dubai. Aside from this bloody African who live in Brisbane, right? And he went to Ghana. I just finished talking to him. He live in Dubai. And he has also an issue in Ghana. I told him I don't deal Ghana anymore because the seller would not tell you how much the tax. So he asked me how much the tax in Ghana, and I told this buyer it depends yearly because that is an income of the government. So the government charged the seller of taxes. That is normal here in Australia. Our government sales tax is 10%. We don't have any complaint at all. We just pay the products. You add the 10%, and that's it. Now, going back to gold, you have no idea. If you have no experience, if you think you can get the profit, yes, you will get the profit when you have a capital. This African guy from Ethiopia, my gosh, I told him I don't have any business with you guys. I just want to reach out to sort it out, and they don't understand each other. That is why I'm explaining here so that the future buyer would understand that anybody offer you gross. Think about it. There's an offer 36, there's an offer 38, there's an offer 47, there is an offer 48. That is gross. If you're acting on behalf of your buyer, use your calculator. The tax on every bar is 4,177 per kilo. And you add that on the price that you were being given as gross, plus $100 as a cost. When you test the gold to a local refinery, there is a cost of $100. Now, plus, you have to pay the shipping cost of 1% on the total sale value of your order. Plus, you need to insure the gold so that when the gold leave the country, the gold will not be stolen. So then the seller or the buyer can reclaim the insurance. So whatever the total sale value, 2%, 1% on shipping cost, 1% on the insurance. The seller didn't explain to you like that. I have heard the communication with this bloody African who lives in Brisbane. Yeah. You hear? So I told him I will mention your name, but I am controlling my temper. Yeah. So all the communication, all his document is in here. If you are watching my video Mr. African. Huh. You come to this country, Australia is the best country, but don't be dishonest. Here's your document. The seller asked me to assist him. Yeah? Mr. Buyer, you are stealing seller's information. Yeah? There's also one idiot lady from South Africa. He stole my information as well. That's why I blocked him. Her name is Winka Dreya. But I told this African, do you want me to mention your name when I'm live? Here's all the communication on WhatsApp. So I am here to reach out to explain to the world, anybody who's watching my video, you're looking for cheap price, think about it. You're waiting for disaster. 100%. Guaranteed. And if you have no $1 million, don't be involved in gold business or diamond. Diamond, at least you spend $60,000 to $100,000 of the total of the stone. If you don't have that, get out. Because I'm telling you, you will never get the diamond out of the country without KPC. Yes? This a guy from Europe. He said he has a lot of buyers of diamond. When I talked to him, what is your position? Oh, he's a broker. And I told him, let your buyer watch the video on diamond. Think about it. You will never help your buyer if your buyer asking bring the diamond to Dubai. Without KPC, you will be arrested. Yeah. You're smuggling. Diamond laundering. That is why I advised my seller. My seller 2019 was been scammed by the buyer of 450 kilos in Conakry. The buyer from Paris. Until now, the buyer has not put the money into my seller's bank account. Until now. They're suing the buyer. It costs money to sue the buyer. So I told my seller from now on, don't believe on buyer asking CIF. Don't believe. CIF costs insurance and freight. Anybody asking CIF or LC, that buyer has no cash flow. Has no cash flow. He's going to leverage the gold and leverage the diamond to find a buyer to sell it to the highest price, whatever the price of the day, and then that is the time you pay the seller. I told my seller, it wouldn't work at all. Don't believe in it. Don't believe. So now I stop any seller offering cheap price. Be honest with you, Mr. Buyer. Be honest. Yeah. Someone is sending me a message. Okay. Be honest. You want to plot around how much is my commission? No, you wouldn't get commission if your buyer has no money. Now, today is Sunday. I was been screening the buyer since this morning. I told everyone I would be live tonight, which is today is Sunday. Now the price of gold today, the stock exchange is closed. At the moment, the price of gold is 59,673.55 per kilo. So our selling price less LMA, our selling price is 54,899. I will remove the 800, 54,000 as today. Tomorrow or next week, when the price goes up, our price changes as well. We always give a discount in order for the buyer to get the profit. Now, as I've said a few minutes ago, our selling price less 5%. So you're gonna say, oh, too expensive. Of course, you're buying expensive item. Of course. I buy this necklace in the jewelry shop. This is very expensive. This is 1,500 Australian dollar. This is 22 carats. I don't have any complaint. They charge me plus GST. I paid. So why you guys, you want to cut corner? So I'm just explaining to you guys here so that when you travel to Africa, you would not be duped. The word scam means you are dishonest yourself. You are tricking yourself. Both buyers and sellers are tricking each other because the seller is hungry to sell and you as is also hungry to buy. That is the reason why the seller offer you, okay, you pay taxes, but when the money arrive in buyer's hand, you will never get gold. I'm telling you. Lucky this African buyer that live in Brisbane, his deposit of $4,000 was returned to him because he cannot afford to pay $51,000. He was offered $48,000 plus tax. He didn't even pay the shipping cost and insurance. He just only sent $4,000. That is wrong. So here's all the discussion with the seller. The seller asked me to help him. So I forwarded all the communication. Okay? And I did even send the voice. Look at their communication. And I said to this African guy from Ethiopia, do you want me to mention your name while I'm live? So I'm just giving you guys here, every one of you, please, do not deceive yourself. You're deceiving yourself. That is why people doesn't like Wilhelmina. Why? I don't care if you don't like Wilhelmina. I'm not scamming you here. I am telling the truth that please don't cut corner because you're gonna be stumbled down. Yes, the biggest transaction I have, January 2021, 2.5 tons of gold. It took me a hell of a lot, back and forth, back and forth. And if you are a buyer watching me, I don't deal with you if you cannot introduce yourself. You already read the full corporate offer. Wilhelmina needs to know who you are. I need a copy of your business registration, importation license, your passport copy, your financial statement, bank statement, that you have 134 million. Without that, I wouldn't believe it. Yeah, I just finished talking to this guy from Dubai. Yes, he did send me his business registration. And I told him, yeah, I got it, but I still not convincing. Yes, he wanted to get the gold in Conakry. Because Dubai and Conakry is close 10 hours drive. 10 hours by plane. And I told him that there is two flight, Emirates, and he said to me only one Emirates. One flight because of the coronavirus, there is no much passenger. So I told this buyer from Dubai, he went to Ghana. He has an issue in Ghana. I told him I don't deal Ghana. I was being screwed in Ghana, big time. So I told him, relax, take it easy, wait until there is a vaccination, then you travel. I asked this buyer, you have an option. Do you want to travel alone? 5%. However, if you convince me, I might consider to ask my seller to give you 8% tax inclusive. You only pay shipping cost and insurance 2% on the total sale value. So I quoted him of 53,000 as today. I told him don't bank on it. As 53,000 tax inclusive. Okay? Times 20 kilos. 1,060,000 times 2% insurance and tax. 21,200. Shipping cost and insurance. So 21,000, you add that, 54,000 plus 21,200. That would be 54,000 plus 21,200. Hang on. Yes, okay. My calculator is playing up. Okay, 53,000 times 2%. No, hang on. 53,000 times 20 kilos. That is 1,060,000 times 2%. Yes, 21,200. So you add that to the price. So the buyer would not pay taxes. The tax is already on the price. That is why we're selling $54,000, except shipping cost, except insurance, except $100 per kilo to test the gold at the central bank. However, I'm very flexible because I have the power to negotiate on behalf of the buyer. I might consider to ask my seller to waive the shipping cost, just pay the ASIC cost. We require the buyer to pay a down payment of 40%. Now you're going to say, oh, Wilhelmina, I'm scared to put 40%. This is how you do. On 20 kilos, you come to the office, you inspect. You already signed a contract. I gather your information, then I will send it to you, the information of the seller. You will receive the mining articles. You will receive the vital information, banking details of my seller attached on the contract because I gather all your information, and I will attach your business registration on the contract. I will attach your importation license on the contract and your passport, right? And you show me your bank statement that you are a buyer, that you have $1 million. I would believe it. If you cannot show me that you have $1 million asking LC, asking CIF, then you will be rejected by Wilhelmina. This is FOB. Yeah? So which one you like, Mr. Buyer? I just finished talking to this buyer from Dubai. And he's happy. He said he will think about it. I told him, read it first, watch the video on Mineral Consulting Group of Company. You will learn, you pay attention watching that video, the gemologist explaining about how huge deposit of gold in Conakry. Yeah. So he said to me, thank you very much. I'm very happy explain your explanation. Now, I just have a transaction to be completed. 2.5 tons of gold in Bamako, Mali. The buyer has a big appetite. The gold will be delivered to United States. Until now, we're still processing back and forth information because this is worth $134 million. This is not easy. And the representative will travel to West Africa. And the buyer said, oh, can you give me the referral? No, we don't divulge our buyer. We don't. We don't divulge our buyer's name and contact because the buyer, it says, please do not give our contact to any third party. It is on the contract that the information of the buyer must be private and confidential. There was a guy, his name is Roy. He abused me. Yeah? He wanted to know who is our buyer, and I told him we will open the books when you come on the table. They're all joker broker. There are 4 of them. Yeah. Then the accused is scam. I was being tagged. I don't know how much I scam you guys. I live in Australia. I have a nice dinner. I'm comfortable here. I'm just here to help you guys. Yes, I want to earn $1. Yes. But you will not earn $1 unless you have a capital. I am not charging you a commission, Mr. Buyer. I am only charging you when I accompany you. I charge my seller of my work. I am not an agency. Must remember. Those joker broker, oh, madam, how much is my commission? No, we don't give commission. We give the buyer a discount. The seller is paying me by performance. So this is not for you if you're brokering. This is not for you. I'm telling you. I need to be frank and be brutal because I want to fix all the bad image in Africa. Those foreigners in Africa looking for cheap price, and then when they were being duped, oh, scam. You're one of the scammer. You are asking cheap price. There's an Indian buyer. He's in Sierra Leone. And he has a broker. How much is my commission? I said, no, I don't know your buyer. Why not create a group chat? I'm going to interview your buyer. His buyer is Indian. And I told this Indian broker, I have been talking to a lot of Indians. There is no Indian successful to us because Indians are tricky, Indians are bargainer, Indians is looking for cheap price, and Indian is looking for CIF. Yes, I met one Indian in Dubai before he fly to Sierra Leone. Yeah, he doesn't have the money. He went to Sierra Leone and he called me, Madam, I need your help. I am not here to sort it out you here, guys. I'm not. I'm not an agency. I only deal with a buyer who can can convince us that he is a real buyer. Three things after you read this full corporate offer and watch this video. Three things I'm going to ask you when you send a formal letter of intent. Show me your business registration. Okay? Show me your importation license, your passport copy, and your bank statement that you are capable to pay. No one will steal your money. Nobody. Wilhelmina will not steal your money in the bank. Just only show us the bank statement that you have $1,000,000. I have a buyer from Qatar. He showed me his bank statement. He has 1.4 million. He's going to travel to Mali. And this buyer from Qatar as well, he want to get the gold in Conakry. He showed me his bank statement. He doesn't have any issue. You have only an issue when you're tricky. Like this African guy who live in Australia, who live in Brisbane. He used to live in Victoria. Now he moved into Brisbane. And I told him on my voice, do you want me to mention your name? He's from Ethiopia. He's African. He's used to be a refugee. Yeah. And he becomes citizen in Australia. But this buyer is very tricky. He's dishonest. And I told the seller, okay, you block this buyer as well. I told the seller, you block him, put his driver's license. But I don't have any business with them. I'm just trying to sort it out. But they're very complicated. This African buyer that lived in Brisbane, he didn't deal with me, but he was talking to me. Can you imagine? He was window shopping looking for cheap price. Now what happened? He cannot even afford to pay 1 kilo. He can only afford to pay 4,000. And the gold didn't arrive. But his 4,000 was being returned. So no one is coming here. This African buyer that live in Brisbane is a scammer then. Yeah, he got the money. His 4,000 deposit was being returned. But I don't have any business with you guys. So the seller came to me to reach out to find this buyer. And I told the seller, yeah, I know this buyer. He was talking to me 2 years ago. He go behind my back. What happened? Failure. Failure, failure, failure. So who is the scammer here? You guys. Asking cheap price. You. Paying taxes. You are one of the scammer. You're launderer. You're going to launder. Do you understand what is money laundering? You want to get the gold cheap price and then you're going to resell it to launder. That is called laundering. So now I think I explain it. So don't come to Wilhelmina if you don't understand. The full corporate offer is on this video. This video would be uploaded on YouTube. Click below, subscribe on YouTube channel, subscribe on Facebook. There's a saying, show more. You will see the full corporate offer. Click on the link, Conakry, Bamako, Mali, Sierra Leone. Click it. Take time. Then when you're ready, you come on conference. I want to see you face to face. Hey, Mr. Buyer, Mr. African. Huh? I will buy you lunch. Let's meet tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday. I want to see you. I want to explain to you. I want to educate you that if you don't have money, don't be involved in gold business. Don't. Because I'm telling you, you will be duped. You were not being duped. You duped the seller because the seller returned your money because you cannot afford. And the Ministry of Mines didn't give the seller certificate of ownership because you have not paid the gold. You only pay taxes. That is the reason why the gold was being seized. The way I look at it, the gold was being seized by the government. That is why I look at See your communication with the seller. I analyze it. The gold didn't arrive in Australia because you didn't pay the gold. You only pay taxes. Yeah. See your conversation. See ya. Yeah. But I'm not going to mention your name because I have still respect on you, Mr. African. Yeah. You become a permanent resident or citizen in Australia, but you're still African. Yeah. So don't cheat yourself. Yeah. Here, your conversation with the seller, he forwarded to me. So don't cheat yourself. Most of the broker or small timer buyer hates my guts. If you don't have the money, don't come to Wilhelmina. You cannot afford. I think I already explained to you guys. So now I'm going to exit because someone is queuing on my screen. Someone want to talk to me on Skype. Yeah? Okay. See, there's a voice, but I will not play on the voice because I still respect this bloody African. I don't care if you're Australian citizen. You are cheating this seller. You got the money back. Okay? That is the reason why I don't deal a small timer. A small buyer, I don't deal 1 kilo, 2 kilos, 5 kilos. Minimum is 20 kilos. Since then, I don't have any issue with the real buyer. The biggest transaction I have, January 2021, is 2,500 kilos. And this big appetite wanted to get more. The 1.5 tons is reserved in Conakry. The same buyer. And I told the buyer, let's do the first transaction first. And this buyer, it took me a month since last year. Back and forth because the bank has to look at the contract and the bank has to look at where is the gold and there is a SKR. So the bank manager contacted and verified the buyer is happy. That is real. That is real. So to you guys, if you want to buy small time, no, I'm not interested. I'm not at all. I was being a victim before. 2021, I will not deal with you if you cannot convince Wilhelmina. 3 things as I've said. Show me your business registration, a copy. Show me your information. Show me your importation license, passport copy, and bank statement. If you cannot show it to me and convince me, your information would be intact, would not be float around. Wouldn't. I am the gatekeeper. This African buyer, he didn't deal with me because he doesn't have the money. He cannot afford to pay. He was looking for seller who offered cheap price. What happened? Bingo. Disaster. So anyway, Mr. Buyer, if you're watching this video, don't cut corner. That is the reason why you've been duped. Yes? A real buyer would not talk too much. Only bullshit buyer talk too much. Yeah? I was being abused by many joker broker. Yeah? I was being abused with so many fake buyer. Good luck. This lady would not believe you guys. This lady would not be scared of you. I'm not scared. Because I never received any single cent from you. Yeah? Never. You use my services for free. I give you for free. I put everything online. You read, you're a winner. If you don't read, you're a loser. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good evening.